Good afternoon. I'm Sergeant Shahaney, Public Information Officer for the Adams County Sheriff's Office. Thank you for coming. We're here today to announce the creation of the Human Trafficking Unit within our Detective Division. Today you're going to hear from, in order, the Detective Division Chief Alex Kondos, the 17th Judicial District Attorney Brian Mason, Adams County Commissioner Julie Duran Mullica, and Adams County Sheriff Gene Claps. Following the Sheriff's remark, we'll be able to take a few questions. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Division Chief Alex Kondos, and I oversee our Detective Division. So it's an honor to stand before you as we celebrate the creation of the Adams County Sheriff's Office Human Trafficking Unit. Thank you to the commissioners that supported these positions for this unit, our sheriff for pushing for this, our partners in the DA's office, and our partners throughout the metro area that are going to be part of this endeavor. We have a massive responsibility as law enforcement to fight against these heinous crimes. It's a form of modern-day slavery, and it exploits vulnerable individuals for labor, for sex, and other illegal activities. So sometimes these crimes are massive in scale, and sometimes it's something small as exploitation over the internet. Regardless of the scale, the victims of these crimes are often overlooked, and they're stripped of their dignity, their rights, and tragically, sometimes even their hope. The addition of a dedicated unit to combat human trafficking means that these crimes will no longer go unchallenged in Adams County. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Good afternoon. I'm Brian Mason, the District Attorney for Colorado's 17th Judicial District, which includes Adams and Broomfield counties. Human trafficking is happening in Colorado, and it is happening here in Adams County. Human trafficking is often in the shadows. We don't see the victims like we see when a motor vehicle gets stolen. And yet it is happening. It's happening here, and it is impacting this community. Victims of human trafficking are literally being sold into sexual slavery just down the street. It's happening in Aurora. It's happening in Brighton. It's happening in Commerce City. It's happening throughout the state of Colorado. And there are multiple things that we as public policy makers and as public servants can and must do with the community to combat this problem. We have to address the demand. We have to address those who are engaging with the human trafficking, who are selling kids into this crime. And we have to do that in a collaborative way. And that's why I'm so proud to be standing here today with the Board of County Commissioners and with Sheriff Claps as we introduce to the community the introduction of this new unit. The District Attorney's Office works hand in glove with the Sheriff's Office to combat human trafficking, but the research tells us that we have to have people with special expertise who investigate these crimes and who then prosecute these crimes. And that's what this unit is all about. This unit at the Adams County Sheriff's Office will now have dedicated detectives who can use their expertise and knowledge of this field to serve victims, investigate crime, and present cases that my office can then take along with the Sheriff's Office into the criminal justice system and hold accountable those who are engaging in this kind of behavior. If there's anything that I want to communicate to this community today, in addition to so proudly standing with my colleagues who are behind me who are committed to this issue, it's to say the following. Human trafficking is a real issue. It is happening here, and we're doing something about it. Thank you.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here. My name is Julie Duran Mullica, and I am chair of the Adams County Board of County Commissioners. I am joined today by my fellow commissioners, Commissioner Emma Pinter, Commissioner Henson, Baca, and Odoricio. We are very excited about this moment to announce this unit coming together. January is National Human Trafficking Prevention Month, and today I'm proud to stand here with the Sheriff's Office, the District Attorney's Office, and saying in Adams County, we see that this is not a problem happening elsewhere. We know there are people here in our community who need and deserve our help and attention. This work started with recognizing that human trafficking does not always look the way we might picture, with people being moved across borders in shipping containers. It happens close to home. It happens quietly, and it often happens to people who are already vulnerable. People traffickers know are less likely to be seen, to be believed, or to help. And these are the people we are committed to serving. That commitment matters, and today it means a great deal to me to stand with our partners in this effort. No one agency can do this alone. Collaboration across our different areas of expertise, from investigation to prosecution to policymaking to advocacy and support, each step along the way, every person who dedicates their time and effort to help survivors of trafficking is vital to helping make real change. That's why we approved funding to create this dedicated human trafficking unit, so these regulations are not just words on paper, but tools that actually help uncover crime, support victims, and pursue justice. As commissioners, our role is not to conduct investigations or prosecute cases. We trust our partners in law enforcement to do that job and to do it remarkably well. Our role is to listen, to learn, and to ensure our laws and policies and resources reflect the realities on the ground. That's exactly what led to the adoption of the Adams County Massage Facility Licensing Ordinance, also known as Ordinance 18, and to approving funding for the Human Trafficking Unit within the Sheriff's Office. That ordinance wasn't about targeting businesses, but rather about compliance with state efforts and accountability, transparency, and creating targeted, intentional, and critical efforts to identify exploitation and intervene earlier. Before I wrap up, I want to once more express our deep gratitude to the Adams County Sheriff's Office and the 17th Judicial District Attorney's Office for their leadership and tireless work. We are proud to partner with you, and we are proud to support this unit, and proud of what this means for justice, dignity, and safety in our community. Thank you, and now I'd like to introduce Adams County Sheriff Gene Claps.
Thank you. Right. Well, thank you, and thank you everybody for being here today. I appreciate you joining us, and it's one thing that I want to even talk about before I get started with my few words that I have to say. I don't remember an occasion like this where we actually had collected the leaders here in Adams County with the whole board, the whole Adams County Board of County Commissioners. We have our friend Brian Mason with the DA's office. We also have in here the county manager that's here in support of this today. Our detectives that are working, our detective division, our detectives that will be assigned to this, our chief of detectives, our captain of detectives. It has a lot of support, and we'll get into the reason why. And so first of all, I'd like to tell you thank you for being here and joining us today. I echo much of what was said here already today. I'm very much excited that the Adams County Sheriff's Office is launching this new unit to focus on investigating, apprehension, and deterrence of human trafficking, prostitution, and exploitation, while enforcing regulations governing massage facilities in unincorporated Adams County. With January being National Human Trafficking Prevention Month, we were there this morning for the proclamation. It is only fitting to announce the launching of this unit, which underscores the Adams County Sheriff's Office commitment in identifying and investigating and supporting these types of victims and these types of crimes. Adding this unit to our detective division will provide us with another element in our arsenal of resources to help us combat those who operate outside of the law. We are incredibly grateful for all the work that our legislators have done at the state level and our commissioners have done at the county level to provide these additional resources. Human trafficking, prostitution, exploitation impacts many lives and leave long-lasting effects and sometimes irreparable harm to the victims. In 2024, there was 318 trafficking victims that were identified in the state of Colorado. And that's a lot. When you look at that, that's a huge amount that we looked at. Also, out of the 22,000 that occurred nationally. So the numbers are staggering when we look at how many people are involved in these type of crimes overall. So this is a very important initiative that we're embarking on. The Adams County Sheriff's Office hopes that through education and enforcement, these numbers will go down. And remember, even one victim is too many. We want to do everything possible to bring the perpetrators of these crimes to the justice here in Adams County. The collaboration between the Sheriff's Office and the DA's office is vital to making this happen. Human Trafficking Unit will work closely with the 17th Judicial District to investigate these vice-type crimes and prepare them for prosecution. The unit will also proactively monitor online platforms and social media, as well as hotels, short-term rentals, and massage facilities for indicators of prostitution and human trafficking. The Human Trafficking Unit will work with our victim advocates and regional partners to support all the victims of human trafficking, prostitution, and exploitation. Throughout the month, the Adams County Sheriff's Office will share educational content and resources on our own social media website to raise public awareness of human trafficking and digital exploitation. I want to thank you all again today for joining us to get this announcement and for us to kick off this Human Trafficking Unit. And we will have time for a few questions. If you have questions for anyone that's here, providing we can answer them. So let's start on the end. Go ahead.
Is there something particular about Adams County that makes it more of a focal point?
Well, anytime you're in a major metropolitan area, it brings all of those problems to the community, especially that we border a very Denver, and we border the football games, the baseball games, the stock show. It's stock show season. Every time you have large events, it brings in the likelihood of having these events happening, and we want to do our due diligence to make sure we're ahead of it and that we stay focused in our hotels, motels, and things that we have in our area that we have control over. Obviously, Denver has control of their own, but throughout the state, there's problematic areas, whether it's in a ski town or it's a labor-induced for farming. I mean, you have a lot of different categories across the state. You really have to focus on our area alone, and we have been combating it over the years. But I think this will bring us to the next level where we can do better for the victims that we do have.
You said you've been combating it over the years. Have you seen cases already, Sheriff? Give us an example of what investigators have already seen proceeding today.
Well, even when I was on patrol, and this is dating back, obviously, quite a few years, so end of the 90s and 2000s, we had a lot of different elements of the prostitution and human trafficking that we dealt with then. So it continues. If the enforcement is not strong enough and the enforcement is not collaborating with all of their partners, the other cities, the DA's office, we tend to lose track. And this focus is to get us back on track where we can actually be more resourceful and we can actually combat it at a different level. Does that answer your question?
It does, yes, sir. And I have a follow-up, Jim.
Okay.
What type of human trafficking are you seeing? Can you give viewers and people listening to this news conference an idea of what you're seeing? What we have heard of happening before is that sometimes there may be people coming from other countries who are being held in some sort of indenture type of service. Do you see that happening here?
Well, we don't see it on a regular basis. We've had cases here in Adams County that have came up, and it's really not specific to a particular group of people. It could be anybody. It could vary on age. It could be children. It can be adults. Unfortunately, a lot of the children then, over the years, then move into adulthood where they're still stuck in that system and they can't get out of it. They don't have means of getting out of it. So we have to work and be diligent about trying to identify them, have resources to be able to talk to them, and be able to get through that so we can break down that barrier and get into the meat and potatoes of what's occurring. But I don't think we probably see a lot of children, but we also have a lot of adults that's the same scenario. It also brings drugs. It brings other things in, organized crime. It brings a lot of other components into the community, which we don't need.
You said they bring in special expertise, investigators. What kind of expertise?
We don't have them, but we have resources between our victim advocates, between advocates that can speak to victims and work with them at a different level. There's also some folks that I know at the state level that are very capable of working and talking to victims that are familiar with these types of cases and have a different type of, I won't say language, but a different reflection and how to break down that barrier to get the information we need for a strong prosecution in a case.
Yeah, Brian, you've got some specialists too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So there are really two types of human trafficking victims that we see at the DA's office. That is victims who are literally being trafficked across state lines and being brought into Colorado, and victims who are homegrown to some extent, victims who are being preyed upon by people who are already here in Colorado. One example of the latter is gangs. We have gang members who will traffic children or adults that are from Aurora or that are from Denver, right here. So human trafficking doesn't necessarily mean in every case that they've been flown in or smuggled in across state lines. That's one component of it, but that's not the whole picture. In terms of why is this happening so much in Colorado, we have 3 major highways that come through Colorado, and all 3 of them come through Adams County. And that's one of the reasons why we have drugs. So many drugs and drug problems, and it's one of the reasons why we have so many human trafficking cases. To your last question about expertise, both the sheriff and I, in our long careers in law enforcement, have found and know from the research that some of the specialized cases that we have to deal with, whether that be sexual assault cases or drug cases, or in this case, human trafficking cases, require specialized knowledge in order to successfully investigate and prosecute them. In many agencies, not in this one and not in the district attorney's office anymore, cases can get passed around. And if you have someone who receives a case that doesn't have experience dealing with victims of human trafficking, for example, they may not have the expertise or knowledge to meet that victim where they're at. Victims of human trafficking in particular are often folks who have been preyed upon and have been manipulated and have very, very complicated mental health problems that make it hard for them to ever report or to deal or to cooperate with law enforcement. Those who engage in human trafficking are very skilled at manipulating victims such that the victims feel like they have to stay with their trafficker. That's a real issue for us. And so having detectives who have been specifically working on these cases and have gone to training outside of the sheriff's office, be it national or local training, same for prosecutors in my human trafficking unit at the district attorney's office, gives them the specialized knowledge and skill to work with victims who have special needs. And that is true of every human trafficking victim we've ever had.
Would it be correct to say that you all, the sheriff's office and the DA's office, have been working on these cases already? You've been making arrests in these cases already, but this is just another push to bring more of a focus on it with more expertise, as you just mentioned?
Yeah, I'll take a crack at that and then turn it back over to the sheriff. Human trafficking has been a problem in this state and in this jurisdiction for years. This isn't a new problem. And the sheriff's office has been investigating these cases for years, and the district attorney's office has been prosecuting them for years. But what we are doing now is really focusing on bringing the resources we need to go after this problem in a really comprehensive way. The sheriff's office, as everyone knows, patrols unincorporated Adams County. We have 11 law enforcement agencies in the 17th Judicial District. The sheriff's office now has a specialized unit. A couple of our other agencies do as well. The agencies like the sheriff, who are specifically having resources geared towards this problem, end up presenting better cases to my office. And that then leads to more successful prosecutions. So I'm hoping that the sheriff's leadership on this issue will inspire other law enforcement agencies within the 17th Judicial District to do the same.
And this isn't new. It's not a new problem. Not a new problem in the world. But we have legislation in 2025 at the state level, and then our commissioners stepped up and passed ordinance here in Adams County that, and I will not say that the majority of the massage parlors are not a problem. But there is the group of massage parlors that can and are the problem and have been even years ago. I can't tell you how many massage parlors that we have led that has led us to apprehension and arrest for prostitution and pandering and pimping and other things. They're not reputable, and those are some of the ones that we're going to focus on because that's where our problem starts, is at the ground level. So this unit is something that we will work with the county in the licensing of massage parlors. We will work at the other different levels, but it's just one more component to ensure that our community is safe and vibrant, and we're not jeopardizing those at risk or victims that are out there.
You've got the stock show in town, you've got the big game coming up Saturday. You may have another game after that. Is this when things ramp up? Is this any different? And at these big events, do you look for human trafficking or prostitution, or can you distinguish between the two? Or
I think law enforcement as a whole needs to be very observant during these times because it brings in the influx in to the areas of wherever these events are occurring. And across the board, I think everybody needs to be vigilant about what is occurring around them and what's happening in their areas, all the municipalities and the counties.
But when these events are taking place, like the stock show or any big event, did things ramp up for you guys?
We obviously, this is brand new. We're just kicking this off, but from years ago when we focused on some other exploitation events and other vice type things, absolutely. We start seeing chatter, we start seeing social media, you start seeing some of the illegal behavior that starts. But again, this is just one component to a bigger picture. It's much broader than just even human trafficking. You know, what's causing it, what's making it, what's generating it. So, but yes, to answer your question, these are the times of the year. Any special event, it could be anything. That even years ago when we used to have Bandimere Speedway, big national events that brings big crowds. We have crowds that come to the stock show, crowds that come to various different events across the metropolitan area that they're housing somewhere. It doesn't have to be in that venue where the event is occurring. People house everywhere. So we have to do our due diligence, pay attention to the hotels, the motels, places where they're going to be. What else?
Is there a fear that that in the past some of these cases have fallen through the cracks? Because you talked about that seems to be a kind of a lack of communication between the investigation and the prosecutor's office.
Well, I don't know if any of, I would hate to say they fell through the cracks. I think us working with the DA's office and our special advocates and some of the specialty groups that focus on this particular field will give us more resources and tools in our toolbox to do a better job and hopefully be more thorough, and we don't leave any stone uncovered.
May I take one crack at that too? I don't think we have an issue with cases falling through the cracks. This has always been a priority for both of our agencies and certainly for Sheriff Claps and has been for me. That said, you can lose a case, a human trafficking case, early in an investigation if you don't have the expertise to investigate it and then prosecute it in a successful manner. And that starts with the rapport that you build with a victim and understanding the signs of human trafficking, understanding the dynamics of human trafficking, understanding the network of human trafficking. And so while no, I don't think cases have fallen through the cracks, improving how we attack these cases, how we investigate them, and how we prosecute them should lead to better results in the courtroom.
Anything else? All right, seeing none, I would like to thank everybody for being out here today, and I also would like to thank the commissioners, our county manager. Does anybody up here have anything to say?
No.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Seeing and hearing none, thank you. We'll go ahead and conclude this. Thank you guys for being here.